Hello there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Okay, so this big screen review is about the 2001 film Training Day, starring Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington. So the story is basically about a man who's in a rather desperate situation and he needs to do what he can to sort it out. The story mainly follows two key characters, Jake Hoyt, played by Ethan Hawke, and Alonso Harris, a narcotics detective, played by Denzel Washington. The day starts out with Jake getting a phone call, and it's Alonso telling him where to meet him. So they meet up, and the day starts off quite normal for two police officers, but they soon find a drug deal going down. From that drug deal, they confiscate the drugs from the people who purchased it. Not in necessarily the correct manner, but we soon learn that Denzel Washington does things slightly differently, or should I say Alonso Harris does things slightly differently. And Jake Hoyt learns very quickly that if he really wants to become a detective, he's got to do what it takes. And so he's kind of thrust into taking the drugs, and it sort of starts his day off a bit trippy. So quite a good few scenes after this do appear a bit strange to him, because obviously he's high. Anyway, so the film had a budget of $45 million, but it only grossed about 109 million worldwide. So not the biggest return, but I think it's a very iconic film. I had only seen this about 20 odd years ago, not long after it came out on DVD, and I hadn't watched it since. So I've forgotten most of it, but that's good because it's like watching a brand new film. So much to my surprise, there is some music notoriety within the cast, in the faces of Macy Gray, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. So yeah, I was quite pleased to see them, and what fantastic roles they had within the film. There's also some other actors that I like from a few other films. Got a Cliff Curtis, a New Zealand actor. I know he's played alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in a couple of films. You got Raymond Cruz, who played the sniper in, I think it's Patriot Games, the one where he's down in the brush and they can't find him and he keeps snapping shots off at them. And it turns out he's eating McDonald's as well, or Burger King, or wherever it was. Then also Nolan Guglielmi, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Noel Guglielmi. He's been in Fast and Furious and various other things, and he tends to play these kind of, well, I'm guessing he's Southern American, so he tends to play those kind of roles, a bit gangstery, and there's a great scene between him, Raymond Cruz, and Cliff, when Jake Hoyt basically gets abandoned at their house, and there's a really intense scene in the bathroom, but owing to what happened earlier in the film, things don't work out quite what you're expecting, and that's pleasing to see. So both lead characters have a wife and child that they obviously are trying to provide for. Eva Mendes plays the wife of Denzel Washington's character, and the little son they have is got to be one of the cutest kids you've ever seen. Just an amazing, his eyes were so intense and dark, but his acting abilities were really quite spot on, and they, and you know, he didn't have to do horrific things, but I think he had to be present at a few sort of horrific things. and or for someone his age anyway. But Jake's family have only just got a newborn, so it's just a baby basically. There's been talk about this film, the colour palette changing from the Blu-ray edition to this 4K. Now I think what actually is the case is the Blu-ray changed from the original theatrical presentation and the DVD. Blu-ray has seemingly gone down the route of putting a colour tint on movies. Now, saying that, this on my projector had a very nice but subtle gold look to the image. They're in California, so it's pretty much always sunny there, and to get a uniform daylight throughout the one day that the film takes place, I think they utilised a golden tint to help with that sunny look. Now, I never saw this on Blu-ray because it never had an compressed audio, so I didn't want to buy it. I wanted to wait for something to come along where they'd upgraded the audio, and thankfully this has been upgraded to Dolby Atmos. Now obviously currently I don't have the Atmos ceiling speakers, but I do have 7.1 and it sounded pretty good. So back to the picture. Yes, Blu-ray does tend to have a tint applied to it, and I think it's to help bring out detail. If you think about the resolution change between DVD and Blu-ray, it's not that big. It's not quite double. But if you think about the difference between Blu-ray and 4K, it's more than double. I think to help give us a perceptible difference between DVD and Blu-ray, and to really make us go, wow, look at that, and all that detail, this tint is applied, like I said, to help bring out the pores and the wrinkles in people's skin and other details. And I think that all that's happened is they've just removed that and set the picture back to its original colour palette, as per what the director wanted. So if you haven't seen it, I've done a video on my thoughts as to why 4K looks darker, and also I explain perhaps a bit more detail what I've just mentioned about Blu-ray. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you would like to check that out. But yeah, like I said, this is a very powerful movie. Again, not having seen it for a long time, seeing it on my big screen, it's definitely the way to see. You just get a much better, more natural perspective of what's going on. So there's other great cast members in this. There's Scott Glenn, who plays a friend, a long-time sort of friend of Alonso, and yeah, what happens to him is questionable, I suppose, but you know, needs must. And yeah, it's very entertaining film, and again, you kind of don't realise that it's taking place in one day, but obviously it is called Training Day, so it literally takes place from the morning to the evening, and that's it. It's quite a compelling story. Both lead actors, played their parts extremely well. I was quite surprised to see Denzel doing a role such as this and pulling it off so well. Of course, he's a brilliant actor, so why wouldn't he pull it off? But Ethan Hawke, especially when he's stoned, if he's acting that, he's acting amazingly. If he's not, then he's doing an amazing job to do his part while stoned. But this film features a very iconic car. I think it's a Cadillac, a black one, and it has the ability to raise its suspension up and down. And yeah, it just looks beautiful. Anything else? Well, obviously this is the Warner Brothers 100th anniversary edition, with the lovely slipcover. Unfortunately, these big labels haven't cottoned on to what the smaller labels are doing and giving us alternate artwork or anything like that. But so, if you didn't know, this one single film spawned a TV series. So as I said, the film's from 2001, but the TV series was from 2017. And it starred Bill Paxton, and it was actually one of the last roles he did before he sadly passed away. It follows the same premise. Obviously he's a different detective compared to Alonzo Harris, and yes, there's a different rookie involved. I can't remember how many episodes. I have not seen the series, but I would like to track it down somehow and watch it, because I really like the film, so I don't see why I shouldn't like the series. And once I got over Bill Paxton playing annoying characters like in Aliens and Predator 2, I actually found him to be a brilliant actor, and really enjoyed watching his performances. So, have you seen the series? Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Is it worth me checking out? Have you got this on DVD, and do you have the Blu-ray? Compare the difference and see which one you prefer. Just remember, for all of you who've been watching this film on Blu-ray for the past 15 years or more, that you know, you've gotten used to how it looks, and to suddenly see it change back to how it's supposed to look is going to be a bit disjointing for you, and a bit sort of, oh, hang on, this is not how it's meant to be. But actually, it is how it's meant to be. This film looks to me as it was intended. A lovely lot of detail, and as I said, a very subtle golden look. Bearing in mind, I watch it on a big screen, so if you saw it in the cinema, you'll see the golden look even less than I did. But if you're watching it on your TV, which is maybe 50 or 65 inch or even 80 inch, that golden look is going to be slightly intensified because the picture is essentially so small. So that's what we need to remember with these 4Ks. The image on the disc is actually massive. It's the same 4K master that you'll see in a cinema. Obviously this was shot on film, but with a modern film, you're seeing that 4K image shown, you know, on a massive screen, 30-foot screen, and any colour tint that's applied to it there will be exaggerated a lot when you watch it on, you know, maybe your phone or your laptop, but on your TV, because essentially you're watching the film shrunk down to a sort of a postage stamp. So all that colour gets intensified, and because we sit and watch films all the time, or most of the time at home on our TVs, we get used to how they look. Anyway, that's the end of the review. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I have much varying content on my channel, ranging from how these discs are made, because I used to work in the business, to even a interactive tour of Pinewood Studios. I've got a few haul videos here and there, but not that often. But they're in playlists, so check out my playlists if you'd like to have a varying look at my channel. And until the next review, take it easy.